Welcome. In this tutorial, what we are going to do now is to run our app is to set our local and run our UI front end. So basically, for that purpose, we are going to use Visual Studio Code. If you don't have Visual Studio Code, please install it. Previously, what we did is we ran our backend API and everything is working as expected. So we are able to retrieve data from the database using our Spring Boot application, which is still running here. So basically, our Spring Boot application is still running, and we also is able to establish connection with MySQL database. And then now for this video, we are going to now run our Angular application. And what we need to do is to be able to set up some endpoints from the UI, which will trigger URL or method from the Spring Boot application so that we can populate the information that we need. And okay, so basically the first thing that we need to do is to set up, this is for AWS, sorry, let's go to our local environment. It is to set up this base URL. This base URL, like you can see, it is using our local host 8080. So meaning that it will like, if you remember when we use Postman, let's go back to Postman. This is what we use here for Postman to make the request. It is basically the same URL that we are going to use plus the endpoint. Like this now is able to trigger the database, to send the request to the database and retrieve information that are needed. Okay, so that means the first step is going to be to, let's go back to our Visual Studio Code, to set that base URL. Whenever you set that base URL, don't forget you have to set it up into your environment class TS, environment class TS, and then you can call that base URL on, you can call that URL on services that are created to handle the request made to the backend. For instance, we have these services, these old services. This is for the authorization, basically sign in and sign up. And basically this one help you to create a new user or to log in. You can either register a new user, you can log in, and then you can log in using those endpoints. And if you remember, those endpoints, especially this one, it is the same that we use from our in Postman. If we go back again, this is the same that we use in Postman with this base URL. With this base URL, which is our local host. So basically it is the same thing here. So we are getting our base URL, which is our local host, and we attach it to this request to make a post request, and we send the information. Also remember that this is a whole UI front-end application. It is more complex. There is a lot of classes, there is a lot of things that are designed on this one. Okay, but the purpose of this video, it is not to show you how I built I did the code on this application, but to run those applications from your local environment first, and then we are going to move to how to deploy in the AWS. I think maybe by the end of those series of video, I will post the codes I will post the URL to for you guys to view the code. I will think about that. Okay, so basically we are getting this base URL from this environment CSS, which is this one, and then we attach these endpoints that will help us to trigger the information, that will help us to log in as a current user or to register a new user. So the same thing apply also for tutorial service. We attach the same base URL localhost 8080, and then we can use those values operation all the time. I think what we did the last time was to be able to check on the retrieve. We did a create. We need to search for CRU test tutorial. Let's check for this CRU test. Okay, this one. No, this is the get. Let's see. Update, create. Okay, this is the one that we are looking for. No, this is delete. I'm not able to. Okay, here this is create. So basically, this is the endpoint that we are using to create, and it is the same as is in the Postman. Basically, that will help us to create, and we may use it to test how we're going to create another book, another type. We're going to update. We're going to add one more book with its description. And let me check again what we need to look over there. The same also apply to retrieve all tutorials. Okay, the same also apply to this one. This helps us to retrieve all tutorial, and we also define that here. Okay, retrieve. You see, we use the same endpoint. If we go by, this is the same endpoint. Okay, so now let's run this application. This UI, this Angular application. Let's run it. The first thing that we need to do is you can use your IDE to run it, but as for me, I prefer do it from here. Okay, so first of all, let me make sure that I am in the. Okay, I'm right here. I also have some code that I already wrote for this. So let me check. I also have some comments. Sorry, those are comments. You can also have. I'm going to attach the those comments in the commentary of this video. So basically, what I like to do, it is first to check the version. Okay, let's first check the version. Okay, let me try to make it a little bit easy. Let me check the version. It says currently we are using Node 16, 11, Angular 11. So basically, this is Angular 11 that we are using. Great. So when the version has been checked, now the next command that we are going to run, let me put it here. The next command that we are going to run, that I love to run, is to clean. I like to clean, and basically I already define this clean command into our dependency. This is the operation that our clean is doing. Okay, let me show you that before I move forward, because that may be confusing for some of you guys. Let's go to package.json. Okay, those are the scripts. You can either decide to already predefine some commands that you are going to use to make it easy, instead of you writing the whole command. you can predefine all the comments that you want to use here. For me, I define the start comment, which is the ng-serve. I also define the clean command that is remove the node module, and that this is a clean. I also define the reinstall. The reinstall basically run the clean. It's going to run the clean. Where is clean? It's going to run the clean. Okay, it's right here. It's going to run the clean command and then the npm install. Okay, and this one too is really important, but we are going to use it maybe when we are going to run for our AWS. But for now, we don't need to worry about this one. Okay, but this is also a command that I already predefined. So let's go back again. So we were here. npm command. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I like running this command first. That makes sure that everything is clean before I start using it. Okay, to make sure that everything is okay. It's going to take some few moments. Okay, great. It has cleaned everything. So now I'm going to run reinstall, and remember this run reinstall, is going to run this whole things here. So it's going to install the application. It may take some few seconds, few minutes, depending, but I think I run it recently. It should go faster. Okay, great. It has installed successfully. So now from here, the next step is now to start the application, and you can run this command npm start. Okay, and this npm start is just going to run a ng-serve. It is the same. So I'm going to run npm start, copy. Okay, hopefully it's gonna run the application. Okay, great. Our application is running, and it says it's running on this browser. So let's just use this browser. Let's copy it, and now great. So basically this page shows up, and this is for a common. This is for any user. Basically, if you haven't logged in or do anything, you can at least view the tutorial list. If you remember this tutorial list, it is the one defined here. Let me just pull it back. You see, this is the one that has been created by the admin. We have 2 tutorials that has been created, and this is what you can see here. But like you can see, you can only view this information. You cannot do any kind of operation on this, because only the admin or the moderator can do some operation such as delete, update, and yes, the same thing applies also for the second tutorial that we created. So before the end of this video, what we are going to do is we're going to log in as an admin and then add a new tutorial. Okay, we are going to log as admin, add a new tutorial, so that we can have 3 tutorial in the list. Okay, but for now this is only what you can see. And then we have our contact us page. This is where I did some how can I put it, I did some testing on how a few things can work on the Angular. I also have the about us page. The same thing also applies here. This is just that was just for some testing that I was doing on my own. And we have the followers page. This is all our followers, and all of that is written in using Angular, JavaScript, TypeScript, and it is really interesting. So we also have our sign up. So basically this page, it is used if we want a new user to sign up and to be able to log in. So we are not going to use this page because we only have some users, but basically this page is already functional. And this page here, whenever you sign up, remember the endpoint that you are going to trigger. If we open this this is the page that is the method that handle the registration, this registration. So basically you input your username, your email, and your password, and you submit that request. That request goes to our backend API, and this is where it handle the sign up part. And it is an old method. It is an old method on its own. And basically, if you sign up from the UI, you can only sign up as a user, as a simple user. Okay, the admin and the moderator must be inputted directly from the database. Only common user, only common user or simple user can sign up from the application. But now admin, moderator, and simple user can sign in into the application. This is what we're going to see anyway. I just want to show you a few things. So now this is where we are concerned. We are going to sign in as admin and view some of the operations that the admin can perform. So basically any user can just come and view the tutorial, but there is no operation that they can do. See the contact page, the about page, and the follower page. Okay, so now let's say you want to perform some operations. You need first to sign in. Let's say for example, I am an admin. I already sign up into this application, and now I want to sign in now as an admin. So if you remember, we can have those information. Let me just grab. We can also see that from here. We already have this credential. This is for the admin role. This user has an admin role. He already signed up. We already checked those information from database on the previous videos. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab this one. Sometimes it does it, I don't know why. Okay, let's just API admin. Let me just type it. API admin. This is for the username. And now for the password, API admin. And for the password is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, now I'm going to log in as an admin. When I click on login, so it first shows that now I'm logging as with a role admin. Okay, so I'm logging as a role admin, and you can see here I have more tab because there is as an admin I can perform more operations. There is more actions that I can do into the application and also into the data, because the purpose of all of that is to be able to manipulate some data that a simple user cannot manipulate. Okay, first and foremost, we still have the home page. When we go to view tutorials, now as an admin I have this button now, meaning that I can remove all the rows. I can view I can remove all the tutorials. I can view a particular tutorial and I can edit the information on that tutorial. I can do the same here too. For all the tutorials here, I can either view the tutorial, edit the tutorial, or I can decide to just remove all the tutorials. We are going to come back to this page. Then as an admin role, I can add a tutorial with a new title and description. And I also have an admin board. The admin board this is where I can manipulate all the users that are currently registered into our application. For instance, if I click this one, I can see my own username and email, and I can edit it. I can also go to the moderator role. You see, he has a role as a user and moderator. I can see the API user. Okay, I can also edit those information. Only the admin has the ability and faculty to have this kind of page and to perform some operation on registered users. I can also add a new user. I can decide to add a new user. And this is where we have again our contact us page, about us page, and follower page. But this one has some issue here. Anyway, so let's go back to our view tutorials. So for now we have two tutorials. Okay, let's add one more tutorial. Let me just make it simple for myself. Let me just copy it here, copy, add tutorial, paste. No. Okay, let's just do it that way. Let's just make sure test. This is going to be test 3. This one is going to be Python. This is a Python book. And now this test Python programming. Okay, so here I'm supposed to be able to add a new tutorial into the list that we have on the view tutorial. So I submit it. You submitted successfully. That means it has been submitted. So now let's check on the view tutorial. Like you can see, I used to have 2 books. Now I have 3. And if I click on this, I can see the information of the tutorial that I just added 1 minute ago or a few seconds ago. So that looks good. That means our application is working. So basically that means from the UI we are able to talk to the Spring Boot application, and the Spring Boot application is able to talk to our MySQL database, which is good. So that will conclude this first part of this series of video, because now we know that our local environment is working properly. We are able to establish connection to the MySQL database, and also we are able to trigger information from the UI, and our UI is able to talk to our Spring Boot application, which is part of our backends. So all those 3 are working fine. So now the next step will be for us to move all those the whole application into AWS, so that it can be reachable everywhere in the world. Okay, AWS has a platform called Elastic Bean. So basically, from Elastic Bean, you can define you can register your application over there, and then you should be able to be reachable. Your application, it should be able to be reachable everywhere in the world. So this is going to be the next step. The first step was to make sure that our local in our local the application is working fine. Now for the second step, we are going to move this application into AWS and verify that whenever we move that to AWS, it is now reachable everywhere in the world. It can be on your phone, you can be in Canada, it can be reachable in Canada, in Gabon, in Europe, everywhere. This is going to be the purpose of that. And this is also the daily basis of a programmer. Whenever you work as a programmer, the first thing that you need to make sure is everything is working locally. Then when you check that everything is working locally, now you can move the application to production so that it can be live. So that's why it is really important for us to follow all those steps to make sure everything is fine before we move now for live production. Thank you so much, and I will see you for the next tutorial.